So what is one situation that has happened in your, young adult life that you were not at all prepared for?
I'm going to say having to like be independent, like independence and like the word, it sounds amazing when you're like not there yet. Like when you want it, when, you know what I'm saying? When it's close and you want it, it sounds good. But when you get on your own, for the most part, no matter like whether you have like a support system or not, the pressure or the stress, like of knowing that you have to do this because it's for you. It's going to affect you solely.
Yeah.
I feel like that was very hard. Like it was definitely a learning like process for me when I got like that transition from high school to college and like being, a certain amount of miles away, and you have to make those decisions, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to financials or how you're going to eat, what you're going to dress, you know what I'm saying? And you don't get to pick what you wear to certain places because in the areas or like, settings, you have to be, in a certain attire. So it's like learning and, understanding that, yes, you're independent, but you have like things that you need to get done. Yeah, you have
There's rules to adulthood, lots of it. And if you don't figure it out, you're going to be under a bridge, in the ground, or in the jail. So get it together, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's hard out here, man. It's ghetto. It's very ghetto.
Like I feel like that that is hard. That process is hard is only because you have to get over yourself a little bit. Like you need to like you have to look at yourself and figure out like where you're stubborn at or where you're like having a hard time changing it, because it's really hard to change like a habit that's like instilled in you already. That's technically not a good habit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, of course, listening to rules and saying yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Those are instilled like manners, but they're good things. But there's also, well, I want to do things on my own type of stubborn, and it's been working for you so far until you get into like a different area or a different world, and it's like you need to be able to be flexible.
Yes, absolutely. There's a time and a place for everything, and when you learn that, and yes, it is very important to be respectful. And like I say to everyone, I'm one of the people who I will give you the utmost amount of kindness and the utmost respect. I don't care if you're 3 years old or 300 years old. That is just who I am. I even say yes, sir, and no, sir, to my younger kids because they deserve respect too. I mean, respect doesn't come with the age, not in my opinion. Yeah. That's what I say. But there's the other side to that because if it's not reciprocated, I am not obligated to keep on showing you this respect. Okay? Okay? We can get disrespectful if you want to, or we can just not be interacting at all. And so I think that's one of the hardest things that I had to learn in my young adulthood. But with that comes the other side that you have to learn. And you have to learn how to work with these people. You have to learn how to get along with these people. You have to learn how to, still collaborate with so many different, demographics, and, you never really fully understand all the people that you are going to encounter. But one thing is for sure is that, you have to learn how to get by in this world. That's, what I'm saying? Well, I guess that's the transition from teenage to adulthood. That's what it's all about, is really gaining your independence. You think you're independent until it's time to be. So, yes, I'm really glad that you said that. And so what is your favorite age group?
My favorite age group? I really like the older, like I like about 9 to 12.
My absolute least favorite.
And I get that so much. Like especially at my job. Like at first I started off with the younger group and I was like, okay, they're okay. And then I got moved to the 9 to 12 group and I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do over here? And then it ended up being like so much fun. And then I got moved back And I was like, I kind of want to go back to the 9 and 12. So if I get the chance to go back to the 9 and 12, I definitely would. But like, they're both in their own way kind of like entertaining. Like, there's not a dull moment like with either one of them, because like that younger age group, they're just saying what's on their mind. They're just saying, you know, what they know and how they see it. You know what I'm saying? They're not sugarcoating it. They're not understanding social cues yet. So it's like, I might have offended Miss Justice when I said that she looks bigger today. You know what I'm saying? But then the 9 to 12, they kind of know like what not to say, what to say, and then like they're trying to show you their personality in the most respectful way possible.
It's really rewarding though. Regardless of the age group, it's really rewarding. And you always meet, like you said, those group of kids that make it all worth it. You know what I'm saying? That just put a big old smile on your face when you walk through the door. So yes. So Justice, where do you see yourself in 10 years? In a perfect world.
In 10 years, in a perfect world. I kind of like simple things. So like, I would like a dream car for the most part. I actually really already drive my dream car technically. I drive a Jeep Wrangler.
Yes! You
And I would really just like to be able to keep that car as like long as possible. So I would like about 2 to 3 kids of my own, possibly. Maybe a husband, but it's optional in my head.
That's just a little extra. You know, we don't need it. A little extra.
Nice. I would like a support system. It doesn't have to be a husband, but I would like a strong support system. And I would prefer to stay in my little southern area of the United States with like maybe 3 to 4 bedroom house.
Yeah.
It don't gotta be huge. It's gonna need a nice kitchen and a spacious living room for entertainment, you know, hosting stuff.
I just love it. Well, I would love an invite, okay? Love the life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and of course, I'm forgetting stuff, ain't I?
Yes.
My degree.
Right. And
I need at least one, but I'll shoot for 2 more.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, like I said, I'm going to have all the careers I can possibly have. I only give one life. That doesn't mean that I just have to have one career. I can have more than one, you know? Exactly. And that's great. Are you going to try to be principal, or are you just trying to see where life takes you right now?
In my head, the way I thought about it, if I were to like venture off education a little bit, still like in the same area, probably do like marriage and family counseling, or more like a MFLAC type of thing. Or, but I don't have any, you know, like ill will towards administration, but I do feel like once teachers get into administration, they take really good teachers out of the classroom.
Yeah.
So it's like, now you have a good teacher that's doing things outside of the classroom, and you're just looking for another quality teacher to fill that spot. Yeah. And hopefully it gets filled with a quality teacher. So like that's one thing about an administration that I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
I would go that route.
And it's great that you're incorporating your morals into the decisions that you make professionally. I think that's an amazing thing. More people should do it. More people should do it. Because I'm telling you right now, there's so many teachers that don't even think like that because they shouldn't be teaching in the first place. You know?
Yeah.
You know, but there are principals that I know that were definitely meant to be principals. You know what I'm saying? Definitely meant to be principals. I think you would make an amazing counselor. I can see it. You've been doing it for as long as I've known you. So I think that would be a great thing. And it's really good to hear that, you know, yes, this is your career path right now. And yes, you plan on succeeding in it. But I'm also glad to hear that this is not where you plan on staying for the rest of your life. You want to explore other things. You want to get other degrees and, you know what I'm saying, experience other careers. I think that is amazing, admirable, and I love it. I just love it. I'm just so proud.
Thank you.
So we're winding up on the end of the interview. And let me just say, I'm so grateful that you did this because funny story, y'all. So real funny story. And we're going to wrap up real quick, but I got to tell this story. So I'm just sitting down, you know, drinking my night glass of wine, scrolling through Facebook, and I'm on Messenger getting ready to message my mother to see if she has gotten off work. And I see Justice, I see the green light bar, and I just started to message her just out of nowhere. I had planned on starting this podcast this week, but I had not, we hadn't spoken in a while, and I just wasn't thinking about it. But then I messaged you, and you telling me that you was a youth program, and you was doing this, and I'm like, girl, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And we didn't really get to, I think we maybe got to spend 1 year, and for me, together, and for me, with most of my kids that I mentored, that's very short time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is a very short time, but we really made a connection. So I'm so glad that that you ain't changed. You know what I'm saying? Like you evolved, right?
Yes.
but the basis of you is still, you're still that go-getter. You're still that person that's got you got a good head on your shoulders. You're not easily swayed, and I just love it. I just love it. So one last question, and then I'm going to ask you to leave a piece of advice with the audience. So if you could tell your 16-year-old self one thing, what would it be? And also one important piece of advice that you want to leave with the audience, whether it's for family members or teens.
Okay. My 16-year-old self. Well, my 16-year-old self was about the time that you've seen me. So we're going to basically say I used to give a lot of energy to things that I didn't have to give my energy to. Like, I know that saying this or doing this because someone provoked me was like, I got to get back. You know what I'm saying? I have to, what I say back has to make them want to stop talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I used to,
you did have that quality.
I definitely, and until I met you, I didn't really understand like why I would always get like maybe a talk to or a lecture after I would say something until I met you. It was more like Justice. And I asked you one day and you were like, I was like, well, if you heard them say something to me first, then why do you always talk to me? And you were like, it's not that they didn't provoke you. It's that what you said was kind of like out of bounds. It was definitely overkill in a sense. And so as I got older, I started to like, if it upset me or I didn't like what they said to me, I just didn't give my energy to it. You know what I'm saying? I removed myself from the situation. So like there are certain things that like, yeah. And you can remove yourself from the situation and be just as satisfied with like the outcome, you know what I'm saying? Without working yourself up. And I feel like, my 16-year-old self was clapback queen. She had to.
Let's go. You want to do this? So you want to fight? Yes, definitely. Yes.
Advice, I would say, I'm probably going to gear this one more towards like students. When you make your choice, make sure it's something that you didn't just think of and be like, I want to do this, or like, I see the salary and I want to do this, because it's okay to match the lifestyle that you want to live with the salary of your job, but you need to know like if you're willing to do this, or not. Like, are you going to put in the effort towards this job? Like, because once you get there, you know what I'm saying? You with every job, you're only seeing the surface level of it. You might see a firefighter, they run into buildings, but they do a lot more than that behind the scenes. And you need to know like what they're doing behind the scenes and if you're willing to do those things behind the scenes. Because even as me always wanting to be a teacher as a child, I'm in my major now and I didn't even know they did 50% of the stuff that I done learned. And I'm not even close to being, finished. Like, to even get to like the finish line, you have to do X, Y, Z. So when you're picking your choice, make sure you picked it because of some reasonable things. And I'm not saying like if you want to be a singer or you want to be an artist or you want to be, a graphic designer, that those aren't reasonable things. Just know that you have the ability or you're going to work towards it and you have a support system behind you that is going to make sure you get there. You know what I'm saying? So as long as it's picked because you are passionate about it and you feel like you're going to be invested in it, it's invested in yourself, and you should be able to do it. But like, don't pick it based off of, well, my boyfriend went to this college, so I'm gonna go to that college. Make sure you look at all of your options. Apply to more than one place. Apply to places that you didn't think you were gonna go, just to see what happens.
Come on, Brad. You better preach. Shoot. Yes,
definitely. There's a lot of things that you need to like think about, weigh your options. And sometimes you'll have like conflicts of interest. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to this school, but it's too far away from family. You need to know what you're willing, like what you can handle. You might get all the way to that dream school and realize you can't function this far away from home. And it's nice to venture out and, get out your comfort zone, because that's important. Yeah. But you need to know like your limits and when to break your limits.
Yes.
Like when to push past them. So I think
when
those
to push
are like
the gas and when to push the brakes.
Yeah.
When to hold them and when to fold. Okay.
Yeah. You gotta set your own boundaries as a person, not as someone's daughter, not as someone's sister, not as someone's brother, but you need to be able to set your own boundaries, like as a person. Like Amen. If you don't feel like talking today, don't answer your phone. You know what I'm saying? Those are boundaries too. It's not you being rude. It's you taking time to yourself. And if you don't, you're going to burn yourself out. So though, like, as a student, as a person, these are like advice that I had to learn, just being.
Experience. The experience is the best teacher is what they say. And I believe it, because I'm telling you, just like that job that I worked so hard to get, and I got it right after you left too. Man, this ain't what it was supposed to be. It ain't what I thought. It ain't giving what it was supposed to give. I don't think I want to do this too much longer. And it wasn't even, you guys were the best part of my day. And the reason why I did what I did anyway. But like you said, you don't know what has to happen in the background. You don't know what goes on in the background. You don't know all the stuff that you have to do, in order to maintain. It's a lot, especially for a teacher. And before I went into, the teen center, I actually wanted to be a chemistry teacher. I was just telling Isaiah this, but I wanted to be a chemistry teacher. And I'm so glad I did not waste that 8 years getting my master's degree to teach chemistry, because I would have lasted maybe 2 years tops. And all that money would have went down the drain, because teaching is not for me. I mean, in a certain aspect, but when I open my school, it's going to be a curriculum based on life skills, so that you are already gaining independence before you get out of high school. So by the time you get to adulthood, you already know what needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel like school should be. But,
yes,
in due time.
Definitely. There are different curriculums, and different countries go about it in different ways. Yes. I feel like America's more academic based, but I feel like you need like a middle ground, maybe like a 60-40 life skills to academics, as long as, You know what
I'm saying? Can we get a little, you know what I'm saying? Can we learn how to balance a checkbook?
They definitely took it out. They definitely took it out. They had like a little 25, a little 10% with home ec, and then they were like, nah, we don't need that anymore.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't learn how did I take an economics class and not learn nothing about how to operate in the economy? That's what I want to know, and that's my only thing. I just want to, and that's the difference that I want to make. And it'll be probably about 20 years from now, because Lord, it takes a lot to open up a school and start a new curriculum. It takes a lot. But
definitely does.
Yes, but ultimately that's a goal. Listen, I don't want this to be the last time we talk. I want to make sure that we remain in touch. You are going to do amazing things, and I cannot wait to see the amazing
Thank you.
Things. I am so grateful that you allowed me to be in your life, because you have to allow a mentor to mentor now. You have to allow somebody to make changes and make difference in your life. I'm so glad that that we got the opportunity to spend the short time that we did, and I really hope that we spend more time together, honestly.
Yes, ma'am.
But thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, Lord. She got a full-time student, and she got a job. So thank you so much. I don't take it lightly. Send me your address. I want to send you a gift. But yes, thank you so much for being the first interviewee on my new podcast. I cannot wait to see where it goes. I'll be sure to tag you. Guys, if you are a friend of Justice, hey, I'm Dee. I'm her former mentee. Make sure y'all share this. Much love.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Bye.